Dear students, good morning. How are you? I am your physics teacher, Shafiq Malik, from Pakistan International School, Doha, Qatar. As you know, this is our 11th week of blended learning. Last week we started chapter number 10, Pressure and Moments. Today we will discuss some more topics of this chapter. Therefore, all of you please open your science book, page number 142. Learning objectives. At the end of this lesson, students will be able to, number 1, apply the concept of transmission of pressure to calculate resulting force. Number 2, show how levers operate. Number 3, explain the action of levers and use the principle of moment to perform simple calculations. Dear students, today our first topic of this chapter is hydraulic machines. Hydraulic machines are machines which use liquids to transmit forces. This is called hydraulic pressure. These machines rely on two properties of liquids. Number 1, liquids are very difficult to compress because their particles are very close together. Number 2, if a trapped liquid is put under pressure, the pressure is transmitted throughout the liquid. Dear students, this figure shows a hydraulic machine. Excavator uses hydraulic pressure to produce the huge forces needed to dig into the ground and then lift earth out of the hole. Dear students, we apply hydraulic pressure in hydraulic jack to lift the vehicles. The diagram shows a simple hydraulic jack used to lift heavy loads. Pressure on the narrow cylinder is transmitted by the oil to the wide piston. It produces an output force which is larger than the input force. The jack acts as a force multiplier. Dear students, we also apply hydraulic pressure in hydraulic brake of our vehicles. When the brake pedal is pressed, a piston puts pressure on the fluid inside the cylinder. This pressure is transferred to a piston in another cylinder, which pushes a brake pad onto the disc, causing it to slow down. Of course, there are really two brake pads, one on either side of the disc. Did you know the power generated by the braking system of the family car is greater than that produced by the engines of most cars on the road? Dear students, the next topic is lever and moments. Forces can have a turning effect. This means forces can make things turn about a turning point or pivot. The diagram shows a spanner being used to turn a nut. The force has a turning effect on the nut. This turning effect can be increased either by using more force or by using a longer spanner. In the example below, the spanner is acting as a lever. A lever is a simple machine. It helps to make work easier. Dear students, in the diagram, a small force, the effort, at the end of a long lever can overcome a large force, the load, close to the pivot. The lever acts as a force multiplier. The effort moves a large distance but the load is only raised a little. Now we will define few terms. First one is load. The load is the object you are trying to move. Next one is effort. The effort is the force applied to move the load. The last is pivot. The pivot is the point at which lever turns. Now we discuss moments. A turning effect of the force is called a moment. The size of the moment depends upon two things. Number 1, the size of the force. Number 2, the distance of the force from the pivot. Moments can be calculated using this equation. Moment is equal to force multiply distance from the turning point or pivot. Unit of moment is Newton meter or Nm. There are two types of moments. Number 1, clockwise moment. Number 2, anticlockwise moment. Dear students, let's solve this example related with moments. In the given figure, the load is lifted with the help of the rod. By applying a force of 300 newtons, its distance from pivot is 1.1 meter. The value of load is 1500 newtons, while its distance from pivot is 0.2 meter. Now, the moment on the right, or clockwise moment, is equal to 300 newtons. Multiply 1.1 meter is equal to 330 newtons meter. Now, moment on the left, or anticlockwise moment, equal to 1500 newtons. Multiply 0.2 meter is equal to 300 newton meter. The clockwise moment is greater than the anticlockwise moment, so the load is lifted. Dear students, please note down today's homework. Learn the topics taught today. Write down the answers of all parts of test yourself questions on your notebook. Solve the given worksheet. Write down the answers of all short and long questions on your notebook. Thank you and goodbye.